सामूहिक प्रार्थना का नेतृत्व नहीं कर पाए थे क्योंकि उनकी तबीयत बेहद खराब थी और उनके स्वास्थ्य की वजह से उनके पहले तय कई कार्यक्रम भी कैंसिल कर दिए गए थे क्योंकि डॉक्टरों ने 88 साल के पोप को पूरी तरह से आराम करने की सलाह दी थी, लेकिन पहले उनकी हालत को स्थिर बताए जाने के बावजूद वेटिकन ने शनिवार शाम को एक अपडेट जारी किया जिसमें कहा गया कि लंबे समय से सांस लेने में तकलीफ के बाद उनकी हालत बिगड़ गई है और आज ये खबर आ रही है कि उनकी निधन हो गई है 88 साल की उम्र में। तो सोसाइटी ऑफ जीसस के पहले पोप हैं और दक्षिणी अमेरिका के भी पहले पोप हैं, जहां 8वीं शताब्दी के सीरियाई पोप भी वे रह चुके हैं और आज 88 साल की उम्र में उन्होंने आखिरी सांस ली है। वेटिकन सिटी की ओर से यह बयान जारी किया गया कि उन्होंने 88 साल की उम्र में आज आखिरी सांस ली है। सुबह 7:35 पर आपको लगातार पोप फ्रांसिस के निधन पर हम खबरें साझा करते रहेंगे। फिलहाल के लिए धन्यवाद।
You are watching Northeast Live, the region's largest English and Hindi news network.
News 24 hours, covering the entire Northeast. From the studios in Guwahati, the News Hub, live coverage from around the region. Top headlines, morning through night. We break news, set trends. Northeast Live, your station, your voice.
নিয়মীয়া বাৰ্তাৰ বুধবৰীয়া পৰিপূৰিকা নিয়োগ বাৰ্তাত অসমৰ চাকৰি প্ৰাৰ্থীসকলৰ বাবে আশাৰ বাৰ্তা। ৰাজ্য চৰকাৰৰ বিভিন্ন বিভাগৰ উপৰি ব্যক্তিগত প্ৰতিষ্ঠানত খালী হোৱা চাকৰিৰ বিস্তৃত সংবাদৰ লগতে আছে পৰীক্ষাৰ খবৰ। ভাৰতীয় ৰেল বিভাগত ৯,৯৭০টা পদত নিযুক্তিৰ প্ৰস্তুতি, শিলচৰ NIT 23টা পদৰ বাবে বিজ্ঞাপন, অসম স্কিল ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিত পদ খালী, অসম চৰকাৰৰ জলসম্পদ বিভাগত ৪৫টা পদ খালী, যোৰহাটৰ অসম কৃষি বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ত বিভিন্ন পদত নিযুক্তিৰ প্ৰস্তুতি, মেডিকেল এণ্ড হেল্থ নিযুক্তি বৰ্ডৰ অধীনত ৬২০টা পদৰ বিজ্ঞাপন, কুমাৰ ভাস্কৰ বৰ্মা সংস্কৃত বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ত শিক্ষকৰ পদ মুকলি, পৰিবহণ বিভাগত কনিষ্ঠ উন্নয়ন বিষয়াৰ পদ খালী, ২৬২টা পদৰ বাবে APSCত পৰীক্ষা, নিউক্লিয়াৰ পাৱাৰ কৰ্পোৰেচনত পদ খালী আৰু এয়াৰপৰ্ট অথৰিটি অফ ইণ্ডিয়াত পদ মুকলি। লগতে আছে ৰাজ্য চৰকাৰৰ বিভিন্ন প্ৰতিযোগিতামূলক পৰীক্ষাৰ প্ৰশ্নকাকতৰ আৰ্হি, প্ৰতিযোগিতামূলক বিভিন্ন পৰীক্ষাৰ ইংৰাজী, সাধাৰণ জ্ঞান, গণিত আৰু বিজ্ঞানৰ লিখিত পৰীক্ষাৰ সাম্ভাব্য প্ৰশ্ন উত্তৰ ধাৰাবাহিকভাৱে প্ৰকাশ কৰা হ'ব নিয়মীয়া বাৰ্তাৰ বুধবৰীয়া পৰিপূৰিকা নিয়োগ বাৰ্তাত। পঢ়ুৱৈসকলে নিকটৱৰ্তী বাতৰি কাকতৰ পৰিৱেশক আৰু বিতৰকৰ সৈতে শীঘ্ৰে যোগাযোগ কৰক।
Evening Express, every day at 5 p.m.
You are watching Northeast Live, the region's largest English and Hindi news network.
Evening Express, every day at 5 p.m.
আয়না দৃষ্টি প্ৰকাশ পালে এপ্ৰিল মাহৰ আইনা জীৱনৰ অতি শীঘ্ৰেই আপোনাৰ কপিটো সংগ্ৰহ কৰক।
You are watching Northeast Live, the region's largest English and Hindi news network.
All right, straight to the top focus at this hour. Well, the Supreme Pontiff of over 1.4 billion Roman Catholics, Pope Francis, has passed away. The Vatican, in video statement, has confirmed the news of the Pontiff's death at the age of 88. Well, the first non-European Pontiff in nearly 1,300 years. He was 88 and had suffered various ailments in his 12-year papacy. Well, this morning at 7:35 a.m., the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the home of the father, said Cardinal Kevin Farrell in the statement published by the Vatican on its Telegram channel. On Sunday, Pope Francis called for freedom of thought and tolerance in his Easter Sunday address. After giving his Easter greetings to the crowd, estimated at more than 35,000 people, from the Basilica's balcony, Francis dedicated the reading of his traditional Urbi et Orbi to the city and the world benediction to an associate. Well, Pope Francis was released from the hospital on March 23rd after 5 weeks of treatment for pneumonia. Well, for the first time since becoming Pope in 2013, Francis missed most Holy Week's events such as Friday's Stations of the Cross at the Colosseum and Easter Vigil at St. Peter's Basilica, where he delegated his duties to cardinals. Well, Francis, originally from Argentina and the first Pope from the Americans, was also the first Pope in more than a century to live outside the Vatican's Apostolic Palace, an ornate Italian Renaissance building located next to St. Peter's Square. Well, since his election in 2013, Pope Francis, who was said to have never taken holidays, followed a frenetic schedule that he had repeatedly refused to reduce despite his advancing age and warnings from doctors to slow down. All right, so the visuals which you can see on the right side of the screen, so it is of Pope Francis, appeared on the balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday, that is yesterday, to deliver a special blessings called Urbi et Orbi. So on the screens are the last visuals of Pope Francis from yesterday. Pope appeared on the balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday to deliver a special blessing called Urbi et Orbi to the city and the world. So Pope Francis passed away at the age of 88. So he passed away after prolonged illness. So Vatican confirms Pope's passing away. And on your screens, these are the visuals. So Pope Francis born as George Mario Bergoglio in Argentina, was the first pope of the Americans. Well, he was elected a pope on March 13, 2013 at the age of 76, surprising many church watchers who had seen the Argentine cleric known for his concern for the poor as an outsider. So he inherited a church that was under attack over a child sex abuse scandal and torn by infighting in the Vatican bureaucracy in the year 2013. So, meanwhile, the Citizen Action Party, Sikkim, has condoled the passing away of Pope Francis. While taking to social media, the CAP Sikkim expressed condolences on the passing of His Holiness. Well, the CAP Sikkim stated, and I quote, "His Holiness was a beacon of peace, compassion and humility in a world that it is in constant need of such values. Well, through his unwavering commitment to social justice, interfaith dialogue and care for the marginalized and the environment, he touched the hearts of millions across the globe, transcending borders, faiths and cultures." The Citizen Action Party, Sikkim, and the people of Sikkim stand in solidarity with the Catholic community worldwide during this time of profound loss. So we honor the life and legacy of Pope Francis, whose spiritual leadership and moral clarity will continue to inspire generations to come. May his soul rest in eternal peace, unquote. And US Vice President J.D. Vance was the last world leader to meet Pope Francis. Well, meanwhile, Vance met Pope yesterday before coming to India. So right now, J.D. Vance is in India, and yesterday he met Pope Francis. Pope Francis delivered his Easter message at Vatican after the brief meeting with Vance. So this is the visual. This is the last visual of Pope Francis, which you can see on your screens, viewers. So the visual footage on 20th of April 2025 on Sunday. So this is the last. So this is the visual where you can see US Vice President J.D. Vance. So he was the last world leader to meet Pope Francis. So as J.D. Vance is in India right now. So Vance met Pope yesterday before coming to India. So this is the visual where you can see J.D. Vance meeting Pope Francis. So he's the last world leader to have met Pope Francis yesterday. So Pope Francis delivered his Easter message at Vatican after the meeting with J.D. Vance. So this is the visual that you can see right now, viewers, of J.D. Vance meeting Pope Francis. So there you can see US Vice President J.D. Vance meeting Pope Francis. So J.D. Vance is the last world leader to meet Pope Francis, and Vance met Pope yesterday before coming to India. As we all know, J.D. Vance is in India right now. So Pope Francis delivered his Easter message at Vatican after the brief meeting with J.D. Vance. And also condoling the passing away of Pope Francis was Meghalaya Chief Minister Congress Sangma. Taking to social media, Chief Minister Sangma condoled the passing of the Pope and said that he has been deeply saddened by the demise of His Holiness. Chief Minister Sangma stated, and I quote, "As the head of the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope led by example. He was truly a people's Pope, and his life embodied humility, love and compassion, which has inspired countless souls. His papacy will be remembered and cherished as he advocated for peace across the world. I also recall with nostalgia the historic moment I met with the Pope at the Vatican in December 2022, where I requested him to pray for the state, the nation and its people. Today, we have lost the shepherd of the church, a global leader and the people's Pope. But his life will be an inspiration to all of us. May his soul rest in eternal peace," unquote. So this is what Meghalaya Chief Minister Congress Sangma quoted after getting this tragic news. So Pope passes away on Easter Monday. and reactions coming in from different quarters of the and meanwhile, Meghalaya Chief Minister Kongrat Sangma took to social media to condole the deaths of Pope Francis. So, Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Kongrat Sangma, said he has been deeply saddened by the demise of His Holiness. He also stated that as the head of the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope led by example, and his life is an inspiration. So Pope Francis, the first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church, has died. The Vatican said in a video statement on Monday, as today is Easter Monday, and in fact yesterday he wished everyone on Easter Sunday. And meanwhile, Nagaland Deputy Chief Minister Y. Patton is also mourning the loss of Pope Francis. Patton tweeted, and I quote, "Mourning the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis, a humble servant of God who walked in the footsteps of Christ and with grace and conviction. In word and deed, reflected the Gospel's call to love the poor, forgive freely and protect creation. His papacy was a light to many, a reminder that faith must be lived with compassion, that justice and mercy must guide our steps. He stood with the broken-hearted, spoke of the silence, and led the faithful with the heart of a shepherd. May the Lord grant him eternal rest, and may his memory continue to guide the church in truth, service and love." So, Nagaland Deputy Chief Minister there, Y. Patton, mourning the loss of Pope Francis. So, Pope Francis died today morning at around 7:35 a.m. So, he was 88 and had recently survived a serious bout of double pneumonia. Now, talking about his life, well, George Mario Bergoglio was elected Pope on March 13, 2013, surprising many church watchers who had seen the Argentine cleric, known for his concern for the poor, as an outsider. So indeed, a tragic news reported viewers. Pope Francis, the first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church, has died. And on the right side of your screen, so this is the visual which was shot yesterday on the 20th of April. As yesterday was Easter Sunday, so Pope Francis appeared on the balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square on Easter Sunday, that is yesterday. And not only this, he also delivered a special message called Urbi et Orbi to the city and the world. So the 88-year-old pontiff was rest to allow to his aging body to fully heal, and he was suffering from double pneumonia. So Pope Francis headed 1.4 billion Roman Catholics across the world. So Pope Francis was born on 17th of December 1936 in Buenos Aires, Argentina. His birth name was George Mario Bergoglio. And meanwhile, His Holiness was inspired to join the Jesuits in 1958 after recovering from severe illness. So he was ordained a Catholic priest in the year 1969. He became the Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1998 and was created a cardinal in 2001 by Pope John Paul II. And meanwhile, following the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI on 28 February 2013, a papal conclave elected Bergoglio as his successor on 13th March. He chose Francis as his papal name in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi. Throughout his public life, Francis was noted for his humility, emphasis on God's mercy, international visibility as Pope, concern for the poor and commitment to inter-religious dialogue. He was known for having a less formal approach to the papacy than his predecessors by, for instance, choosing to reside in the Domus Sancit Marte guest house rather than in the papal apartments of the Apostolic Palace used by previous popes. Well, Francis made women full members of dicasteries in the Roman Curia. He maintained that the Catholic Church should be more sympathetic towards members of the LGBTQ community and stated that while blessings of same-sex unions are not permitted, the individuals can be blessed as long as blessings are not given in a liturgical context. Well, Francis was a critic of unbridled capitalism, consumerism and overdevelopment. He made action on climate change a leading focus of his papacy. Well, he was the first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church. And condoling the passing away of Pope Francis was Union Minister Kiren Rijiju. Taking to social media, Rijiju condoled the Pope's passing away and said, "A profound sense of loss today. The world bids farewell to His Holiness Pope Francis, a guiding light of compassion, humility and unwavering faith. His words healed hearts. His actions united humanity. Deeply saddened by his passing, may his legacy of love live on." Unquote. So, Pope Francis, the first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church, died today morning at 7:35 p.m. So, Pope was earlier released from hospital. He was diagnosed with double pneumonia. The Pope had suffered various ailments in his 12-year papacy, and meanwhile he had survived a serious bout of double pneumonia recently. So at 7:35 a.m. this morning, so today is Easter Monday, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. And also let me tell our viewers here that the Vatican has released a statement where it stated that, "Dear brothers and sisters, it is with profound sadness I must announce the death of our Holy Father Francis." So this is what Cardinal Kevin Farrell announced on the Vatican's TV channel. So over 12 years, he had reorganized the Vatican's bureaucracy, written 4 major teaching documents, made 47 foreign trips to more than 65 countries and created more than 900 saints. So overall, Francis was widely seen as trying to open the state global church to the modern world. And among major decisions, if we talk about the major decisions, he had allowed priests to offer blessings to same-sex couples on a case-by-case basis and had appointed women to serve as leaders of Vatican offices for the first time. So these were the major decisions taken by Pope Francis. So Pope Francis was born on 17 December 1936 in Buenos Aires, Argentina. His birth name was Jorge Mario Bergoglio, and meanwhile His Holiness was inspired to join the Jesuits in 1958 after recovering from severe illness. So he was ordained a Catholic priest in 1969. He became the Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1998 and was created a cardinal in 2001 by Pope John Paul II. So following the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI on 28 February 2013, a papal conclave elected Bergoglio as his successor on 13th March. Well, he chose Francis as his papal name in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi. Throughout his public life, Francis was noted for his humility, emphasis on God's mercy, international visibility as Pope, concern for the poor and commitment to inter-religious dialogue. So he was known for having a less formal approach to the papacy than his predecessors by, for instance, choosing to reside in the Domus Sancta Mater guest house rather than in the papal apartments of the Apostolic Palace used by previous popes. Well, Francis made women full members of dicasteries in the Roman Curia, and meanwhile, he maintained that the Catholic Church should be more sympathetic towards members of the LGBTQ community, and stated that while blessings of same-sex unions are not permitted, the individuals can be blessed as long as blessings are not given in a liturgical context. So Francis was a critic of unbridled capitalism, consumerism and overdevelopment. He made action on climate change a leading focus of his papacy. Alright, so Prime Minister Narendra Modi has condoled the passing away of Pope Francis. Taking to X, Prime Minister Modi stated, and I quote, "Deeply pained by the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis in this hour of grief and remembrance. My heartfelt condolences to the global Catholic community. Pope Francis will always be remembered as a beacon of compassion, humility and spiritual courage by millions across the world. From a young age, he devoted himself towards realizing the ideals of Lord Christ. He diligently served the poor and downtrodden. For those who were suffering, he ignited a spirit of hope. I fondly recall my meetings with him and was greatly inspired by his commitment to inclusive and all-round development. His affection for the people of India will always be cherished. May his soul find eternal peace in God's embrace," unquote. So these are the visuals when Pope Francis met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the passing away of Pope Francis, and taking to X, he stated that he is deeply pained by the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis. And also condoling the demise of Pope Francis was Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Taking to X, she said, "Pope Francis has returned to the house of the Father. This news saddens us deeply because a great man and a great pastor have left us. I had the privilege of enjoying his friendship, his advice and his teachings, which never failed even in moments of trial and suffering. In the meditations of the Via Crucis, he reminded us of the power of the grit which makes everything flourish again and is capable of reconciling what in the eyes of man is irreconcilable. And he asked the world once again for the courage to change direction, to follow a path that does not destroy but cultivates, repairs and protects. We will walk in his direction to seek the path of peace, pursue the common good and build a more just and equitable society. His teaching and his legacy will not be lost. We greet the Holy Father with hearts full of sadness, but we know that he is now in the peace of the Lord," unquote. The head of Worldwide Catholic Church, no more. He passed at the age of 88. So Pope Francis passed away after prolonged illness. He was diagnosed with double pneumonia recently. So hours after Sunday Easter wish, Pope Francis passed away today morning at around 7:35 a.m. And also let me tell our viewers here once again that the Pope was in hospital for over 5 weeks. So he was the first non-European pontiff in 1,300 years. And also let me tell our viewers here that Pope Francis headed 1.4 billion Roman Catholics across the world. Alright viewers, we will give you all the details regarding Pope Francis' death in our next bulletin. So keep watching Northeast Live.